What up? What's good? What's happening? Welcome to the Sports Bar here at WTF Nation Radio / U.S Army W.T.F Moments. I am your host, one of two hosts here, the actual King Smith, coming at y'all live, lickety lizive, on a Sunday night. This is Sunday, August the 18th. My favorite time of the year is here as it is football season, the real football, not that pansy soccer stuff that Europeans call football. We getting into the actual factuals over here, baby. And I can tell something, man, every time I think my technology is good, it is not. My soundboard got messed up. We gonna try this again. Run that back. Yeah, y'all should be able to hear me now. Man, all right. I'm gonna have to fire my assistant. Look, we here at the Sports Bar are live. Myself, the actual King Smith, an Air Force veteran / DD 214 alumni. I got this shirt at my local Army Air Force exchange service. And I said, you know what? While I can wrap myself in my DD 214 blanket sometimes on occasion, I'll also clothe myself in a DD 214 alumni shirt to represent all my fellow veterans out there. And, y'all that are currently serving, that'll be getting that DD 214 soon, we'll welcome you on this side over here. The Sports Bar is a show that goes live almost every Sunday-ish at 8 p.m. U.S. Eastern Standard Time Zone. My co-host may or may not be on, but even if he is not on, he will be in the chat as he is returning from a coaching clinic and the Olympics that he was at last week and getting us all of the sports stuff as well. Shout out to Parker Zanoff over at XS that you can hear me. Hey, Parker, thank you. And I appreciate you tuning in over at X2. I'm going to tell y'all, our X viewership here at WTF Nation Radio is starting to pop off, and I love it. Right now, it's the social media that's getting the most live consecutive viewers. So I'm happy to hear that. And Parker, I appreciate you tuning in. Okay. Shout out to Harriet Sullivan. Said, hey, King, good evening. Hey, Harriet, good to see you again. Said, with flag football going on in the Olympics in 2028 in LA, I'll be there for the opening ceremony. Yeah. I know somebody that lives out towards that way, and they're talking about leaving the city because of how crazy it's going to be. The Olympics in 2028 might be the closest that I'll ever go, because I can't imagine going to the Olympics overseas. I had a coworker that did it this year. Him and his wife took the time. They traveled. He got back this week and said that he enjoyed it. I'm still waiting on some pictures and stuff, but I might in 2028, if I'm still in the States myself, I might pull up and go just to say, hey, I've been to the Olympics, right? It could be one of those bucket item lists. But shout out to you, Harriet, for pulling up. And God happened to me's in the building. Said, hello there. Hey, babe. I appreciate you tuning in. We got my man David in the building. Said, good evening, King. David, salute to you, good sir. I appreciate you popping in as well. Now, we're going to get some of the marketing out the way and then get into tonight's show. Tonight's show is going to be a light show. It's going to be a light show. I had a couple of video submissions sent in, some interesting topics that I wanted to bring up. And I'm not set up yet for call-ins. I need to get set up yet. If I can have the link that if anybody wants to join, you can chop it up. That's what I'll do. You'll have to have access to a laptop or a desktop, or you could do it from your phone. If you're not, I think you have to use the Safari browser. But you know what? If anybody wants to come up and talk shop, let me do this. Let me create the link now. I'm gonna drop the link in the chat because it's gonna send it out to all of them. That's the link to join. If anybody wants to come up and talk sports, we're going to do just that. But it's gonna be a little bit different than how the other station managers do it. Boss, don't fire me. I haven't done anything to be fired yet. But let's get this up on the screen and we'll get some of the marketing out the way and we'll get into the show. We've got a new graphic. Shout out to our graphics person at WTF Nation Radio. If you take a look, we're live almost, actually, this is every day of the week, Sunday through Saturday. We have a show going on. Two of the new additions there are at the Friday and Saturday night spots. Every other Friday, we've got FTX, which is short for field training exercise if you speak military lingo. And that is where the boys chop it up over there. We play some video games, we crack some jokes. We got some shirts made for that as well. So that is the official FTX logo. And I want to give a big congratulations to Nemo, our behind the scenes man who is not so behind the scenes anymore, for the Saturday weekend co-ops. Nemo's a gamer. He's really good at it, and I find this show entertaining. And he's getting into the live streaming and gaming stuff here at WTF Nation as well. You've got all of the regular shows here Monday through Thursday. I'm not gonna spout them off right now because I'm not good at doing that particular part, but there they are, and there's my face. All right. Look, if you hadn't hit that like button and there's a platform that has a like button on it, hit that like button. All right. So we can feed the algorithm what the people out there want to hear and see. Shout out to Heath Barlow as well in the building. Said hello all. What up, Heath? Good to see you. Good to see you. Now, let's start off with something funny, at least funny to me. Actually, no. Let's do this. One of the things that we like to promote is the other shows here at WTF Nation Radio. And this isn't necessarily sports related, but I want to showcase why you should watch all of the shows. Okay. One of the watchers on Pop Culture Warrior received a winner's box because this person won. That came from Pop Culture Warrior. This is everything and some other stuff that isn't pictured here yet that CQ sent one of the viewers that watches the Tuesday show. And I see coaches on and coming up. I'll bring him up here in a second. Okay, so CQ of Pop Culture Warrior, who does our pop culture show on Tuesday, sent this person a whole care box, drop set, a box with a bunch of pop culture items, stuff that are signed by famous actors and actresses, some of his own gear. The coolest thing that I saw was this Stormtrooper helmet, which somebody on the lady's page tried to snipe from her and said that if you're willing to sell it, and she said, nope, not selling at all, as this is the coolest thing that I want from here. And a couple of other gears. So I'm not going to put her name out there unless she's watching live right now. But to the person that won, congratulations. I thought that this was dope. I believe Pop Culture Warrior might share it on his own page. So if you're not following Pop Culture Warrior on Facebook, go over there and follow that. And be on the lookout as well, because on the 25th, we're going to have another trivia. So on Sunday, August the 25th, pop on up as Coach, who's joining right now, and I are going to be running trivia and giving away a signed Drew Bledsoe jersey, authenticated, signed Drew Bledsoe jersey that was picked up from Hit Parade by me. I spent my own money with this. Hit Parade didn't send me this, and I am giving it away to the winner of the trivia. But in order for you to win, you have to be there. Okay. What you do with it if you win, that's on you. If you're a big Drew Bledsoe fan or a Buffalo Bills fan, then hey, you got something that means something to you. You can turn around and sell it for all I care. But it is some sports memorabilia. We're going to do some sports trivia. And I'm going to stop talking now so that Coach can come up in here and say what he got to say. Coach, introduce yourself.
What do you hear? What do you say, King? I got a brand new mic. I got a brand new setup over here. How am I coming in right now, my man?
Man, you are 5 by 5 and you sound really good. You sound
Oh
like
yeah.
somebody that isn't going to be offended when I talk about how small New York City is.
Oh dear God Almighty. Yeah, bullshit. Don't you even get me started on this. Did you even say anything yet on the start of the show? Because I told you I was going to start the show off with that shit.
Not yet, man. I waited for you.
Oh
So for
hell.
those of y'all that are like, wait, what are they talking about? I said I don't get how people from New York City talk about they block like it's a whole damn country. I just don't understand it. People would be like, I'm from Uptown, 132nd. I'm like, but then when you get to 132nd, it's a block. You proud of this one damn block, coach? You're from that area. Explain it to me so it makes sense.
You simple, 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 simple person. First off, first off, let me say this. By the way, that is a nice. That was a nice loot crate. That's
It
what we should
was
call that. It was a loot
loot
crate.
crate.
That's what he got from CQ. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, from anybody here that is not from New York City or the adjacent tri state area, in which I mean New York, New Jersey, or Connecticut within that surrounding area, you are unfamiliar with the boroughs, the setup, and the neighborhoods of greater New York City. Now, let's just be as blunt and as honest as it comes. There is no other city like New York. Los Angeles isn't like New York. Paris isn't like New York. Even London is not like New York. If you were to say that New York City would be the capital of the entire earth, there would be very few people that would tell you that you are wrong. New York City in itself has its mayor and it's governed by itself. Plus, it has five boroughs: Manhattan, Staten Island, the Bronx, Brooklyn, and Queens. Okay? Now, just within the Isle of Manhattan, there are over 50 frickin' neighborhoods, King. This is an entire stretch of maybe 10 square miles. There are over 50 neighborhoods. Let me explain this to you right now as simple as possible. If somebody in the microcosm of New York City says that they're from Uptown from 132nd, that is meant to identify the block in Harlem that they are in from.
Uh-huh.
132nd Street, that entire block starts off where there is little sections that are cut in and have other neighborhoods adjoining to them. If you take a look at actually right now, Little Italy, Little Chinatown, and Koreatown are probably three of the smallest areas, and there's encroachment on each one of those areas. There is a distinct instance. There is a distinct flavor within there. Okay, all of the LGBTQIA plus down there in the East Village definitely don't want to be in the meatpacking district at night or in Hell's Kitchen. Midtown, you're not even living there. And if you're living there, you are a billionaire. If you're from the Central Park area, you're an absolute billionaire. So if you're saying that you're from Uptown 132nd, you've got crap because you're in the middle of Harlem. And the more north you go up, the more ghetto you get. Starting at about 110th Street, right where 109th or 110th, right where Central Park ends, you enter into Spanish Harlem and into Harlem. Spanish Harlem and the barrio are off to the right. You've got Harlem going all the way up until Washington Heights. Harlem has been historically an African American area, neighborhood inside of Manhattan. You go up over to Washington Heights, that bleeds into the Dominican neighborhood. So those that are shouting out their street and shouting out where they're from, well, it's part of the representation, just like the people from Alabama. Are you from the area where the University of Alabama is? Or are you from the area where you fuck your sister. Anybody that's coming here from Tennessee, if I say that in Tennessee, there is some hoods in Memphis I wouldn't be going around, but the hoods in Nashville are much more gentrified, whiter, and trashier than the hoods in Memphis. New York City is a microcosm of the United States of America. There's absolutely every freaking type of place in there, the absolute melting pot of humanity, not just for New York, but for America and in turn, the entire earth. There is no other city on the face of the earth of that. So when you're repping, going all the way up from whatever borough you're from, down to the neighborhood in the borough that you're from, or the town that you are from. I'm going to tell you one thing. Bensonhurst had it bad between the Jews and the African Americans over in the 80s and 90s and still do today. There are turf wars left and right up there. And for anybody who is completely uneducated, and I know David Cunningham is old enough to remember this movie. Harriet, you look too beautiful to be this. You old, and I definitely know that. What's it? You're definitely too young to remember this movie, King. But there was a movie that came out called The Warriors. And the entire premise of this was the gangs of New York, the street gangs, the thugs of New York City were going to band together and take over the city. And then, of course, a whole bunch of stuff happened after that, but you got to watch the movie in order to see that cult classic. But that is the truth right there. No matter what hood you're from, Biggie said it the best, okay? Brooklyn. All right. You ain't getting anything out there. Yes, the Warriors come out to play. That's where that came from. Warriors come out to play. Harriet, look, to be honest with you, you are old enough to be my mother. You sure as heck don't look 62 at all. Mom, I'm being dead serious with you, ma'am. You do not look 62. So just want to say that right there. Now, that being said, that's why everybody up in New York even says that. You try to say, all right, if I say that I'm from Jersey, I am not going to tell anybody where in Jersey I'm from. I'm going to tell somebody I'm from fucking Patterson. New York? No, you're going to tell people where the hell you're from because they're going to know whether you're fake or you're not. You say that you're from the Bronx. Okay, what area in the Bronx? Are you from the South Bronx? If you're from the South Bronx, you're pretty shit. You got some fucking hoods over there. You're over there in the middle of the Bronx. Hey, you're a little bit whitey. You're in the North Bronx and almost towards Yonkers. You are getting into that area that frickin' Ocasio Cortez just lived on the border of, the rich white frickin' privileged neighborhood that knows everything from the streets. Yes, that
Bro,
is the case.
I think it's crazy though because I love how diverse it is. For example, I just looked it up. The Bronx by area is only 42.24 square miles.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. Yet,
Yeah.
if you let people talk about it, man, the Bronx is, like I said in my video, it's this huge freaking place to them that they are proud of. Well, they
Here,
proud of that 42
here's
square miles.
here's the funny thing about this. When you actually look at New York City and you realize that the New York City area encompasses the five boroughs, back, and I kid you not, this is actual fact. Back in before the Brooklyn Bridge was out, New York City was considered Manhattan. Manhattan was considered its own city, and it was the second most populous city in the United States. You know what the first one was? Brooklyn.
Hmm.
I kid you not, right across the borough, the second most populous city in the United States became Brooklyn. Queens came out of that, the Bronx, and ended up incorporating, and then you've got all your upstate, like Yonkers and Westchester County and all that. That's where your suburbs kind of went out from there. But the main part of the city, every borough has it encompassed there. And think of that on a grander scale of turf war, and then thinking of an insider turf war inside that. There are so many different diverse neighborhoods that you can't tell the difference between them. And this is, or you can definitely tell the difference between them. It has to be a difference between them, and you have to make sure you have a difference between them. For fuck's sake, look at the Bronx. The Bronx has got 42 square miles. Guess what it has? The Cathedral of Baseball. All the way on the other side of town, because there were too many people whining about the place being in the Bronx, they had to put a second team over there. And it's a night and day difference between the fans that live less than 20 miles apart distance, point to point, as the crow flies.
Hmm.
That's why you rep your street. That's why you rep your stuff. If you're from Jersey, don't represent like you're from the freaking Bronx like I used to. Even though I enlisted in the Bronx, it had absolutely, and I was in college in the Bronx, I was not from the Bronx. I was from Jersey. Okay, I got that one definitely told to me. So that being said, yes, you are from there. You have to realize that there is also massive differences, not only just in culture, but also in security around there. And this is where I'm coming from: security. New York City itself, the city, actually has the jurisdiction over all of the NYPD across the five boroughs. That does not include the federal that is around there, whichever services that are there, plus the UN security on top of the Secret Service thing. Now that Trump Tower is considered a base of operations for the former president. So you have security left and right, where even in Los Angeles, your security is so far spread out and not activated that it's not necessary. And there's on top of that more private security, and the cramped style of everybody needing to be there exacerbates a lot of different things. You will definitely see the haves and have nots just based off of the buildings. Look at the buildings in Harlem versus the look at the buildings just south of Central Park in upper Midtown Manhattan. It's Billionaires Row versus slums. Yeah, that's why we rep.
No doubt, no doubt, man. I don't know, dude. I saw that and I had a couple of questions about it, and I wanted the people to give me an answer. And
David Cunningham was in Compton.
I had a
I
couple of
know
people
he
say,
didn't keep it rocking.
"Yeah,
Yeah.
we keep it rocking."
Well, let me tell. Well, let me welcome everybody to a Wild Wild West, a place that's as touchable like Elliot Ness. Oh
Harriet
man,
Sullivan said,
damn.
"Look up Joseph Sullivan. Yep, it's him, the only thug to escape Attica. Yo,
Oh yeah.
hold on, and they got the same last name too. Let's look at this, Joseph Sullivan. And did I keep that on the screen here?
All right,
Nope.
now
Let me pop that back up.
and on top of that too, let's also go over the straight up. New York City only has a couple of places that their criminals can go, and let's be honest, the criminals are some of the fucking worst criminals on the face of the earth. That is no lie. We do everything to the extreme. We've got the best criminals and we've got the best people. But
Hold on.
that being said, the criminals either go to Rikers, and that's usually where the holdup is before they get sentenced, or they would go up to Attica or Sing Sing from New York. Those would be the only two places that they would go. And Attica, oh yeah, look at that one up.
Before I continue, this was Harriet Sullivan's. She said, "My husband and his cousin." Okay, so look, to any of the Sullivans out there, we friends. King Smith at WTF Nation Radio is friend to all Sullivans out there, to include Harriet. Harriet's the most beautiful, sweetest person that I've ever met. So when I pop up in New York, remember I said that. I don't want no smoke with any Sullivans out there in New York.
Don't.
Oh
Yeah,
man.
I think we'll be okay. Yeah.
All right, we are starting this show off like, look, I told y'all that today's gonna be a real light day. It was light in sports news this week. It was more updates than anything. Let's get right into it. So we've got the
And,
NFL.
and it's a good reason for it. And I'm saying the reason why is because, man, after the Olympics, there really is just a hangover of let's wait till football season. Even this baseball season is doing absolutely nothing in the world of sports right now. There is nothing happening. Nothing is exciting. There's nothing happening motor racing. There's nothing happening, and everybody's just waiting for freaking football. And I can't
That's
wait
for
either.
sure. Yeah, and I mean that's why today is a light show as it is today. As I was looking for things to bring up for us to discuss, there really wasn't a lot. So I had to
Yeah.
pull out of a freaking rabbit's hat to get the topics for today's show. But we do have the NFL preseason, the new wacky kickoff is underway. There's a couple of people talking about how Harrison Bucker might have already found the cheat code in this wild, weird sideways kick that also curves as it goes, making it that much harder for the return person to actually field and handle. And if I wasn't the only clip that I could find, I know would get us zucked, but I do have a different NFL video that I don't think is going to get us zucked. So I'm gonna bring this up here. I'm gonna try not to.
Oh, screw him. He'll
It's
be all
on
right.
mute. So let's do this.
Let Roger Goodell kiss our ass.
So this was one of the preseason games in which all-world quarterback Patrick Mahomes. Actually, that's not a good view. Let's do it here. Yep.
Oh,
So
yeah.
all-world quarterback Patrick Mahomes takes the snap. Travis Kelsey goes for a block here on number 93. And what Mahomes does, he patted the ball and it looked like he was about to throw it downfield somewhere, except nobody's over there right there off the seam. So watch what this fool does. He does a behind the back pass to Travis Kelsey, who gains like 6 or 7 yards. And I just thought that was insane. So let's watch it again. All right, boom. He gets it. Now, actually, it was about like a 9-yard gain. So Mahomes talked about it, right? And post game, he said, "Look, I don't go and I do these things for the oohs and ahs. I basically just tried to execute something." He said, "I had forgotten about it until people were talking about it later on, and then y'all are up here asking me about it." He goes, "This isn't something that I do just to do it." He goes, "But it was the best way to get him the ball. It was still low. It wasn't the best thing, but it was one of the only ways to get him the ball." And I just thought, man, what can this dude not do? He got video of him throwing darts, being freaking horizontal to the ground and getting the ball out for touchdowns. And you just have to look and go, if he's doing this in the preseason, to everybody that's in his division, just y'all are fighting for second place and maybe a wild card spot to the Chiefs, as the Chiefs looks like they're going to lock up their division again, especially when you consider that the Las Vegas Raiders just made the announcement that Gardner Minshew is going to be their starting quarterback. Coach, what say you?
Oh. All right. First, regarding Mahomes, that play right there is reminded me a lot of Brett Favre. Really did. I'm not trying to get into John Madden right now or Nicolas Cage about to be playing John Madden. I'm not sure if you saw that picture, but that's a pop culture thing. Yeah, let CQ we got to let CQ get that picture. There's a picture of yeah. Keep that to CQ for that one. Nicolas Cage is John Madden. It's kind of funny. But that being said, Mahomes doing this was messing around, and this is that play yard game. Okay, this is that play yard game. Look when he did this. This is the preseason, first, second, third, whatever drive or, whatever play it is, snap it is. He's just messing around at this point. It's happened before. He didn't practice this, but I guarantee you he's done this before and just said, whatever, I'm going to try something. And this is the perfect time for him to do it. When your talent has brought you to the part where inside the preseason you're using it as a mess around type of game or you're playing it as a mess around type of game, That's when you know that you are able to take those types of things. This reminds me of there's a race car driver by the name of Max Verstappen. At one point, he had a lead so far ahead of the second place person that he purposefully stopped for a pit stop so that he could switch to the stickier tires and get the fastest lap of the race at the end of the race, and he still beat the guy by a good 10 seconds. This is what the best of the best do. They mess around and they try to find out different ways of screwing around and getting things off. And I'm glad Mahomes pulled that out because now I wish I'm joking. Defenses are going to plan against doing something like that. Defenses are now going to plan for that. Once you show that weapon in the arsenal, the NFL is used to having so much analytics that they are going to have to prepare for something like that. That being said, he just opened up a new avenue where if that play is out there and they think that that's a repertoire type of play, they're going to move off of him just enough where another receiver is going to be going. That's how you improve and try to get up when you are the best. You try to find different ways that they play against you and open up new possibilities for them to go against it where your primary play is going. So, him pulling off a move like that, awesome. Glad that he's got the talent to do it. That right there is the way to kind of improve when you are at the best. When you are at the best, you don't have to make a decision between Gardner Minshew and some other freaking quarterback who lost to Gardner Minshew, who, if I'm right, didn't like Gardner Minshew lose his job to the Jacksonville Jaguars and then the Jags went 1-15?
Yep. He was actually
Yeah.
a winner for the Jacksonville Jaguars,
That's right.
and they
He
got
was.
they got rid of him.
Man, that guy's been traded around the NFL. Or that guy's now been around the NFL more times than Khloe Kardashian's been around the NBA. Damn.
Yo, hold on. Coach said,
Today I got time, cuz.
"Hey, Coach, I have to ask you a question. If you break a record in the preseason, does it matter?"
No, not one bit.
Just like Dallas Cowboys, Brandon Aubrey drilled a 66-yard field goal, but just like the Cowboys, who hadn't been relevant during the regular season, preseason stats don't matter when you can kick a 66-yarder. It's just like practice. It's great to see. It's good to know that you possibly could do it when it mattered. But Brandon Aubrey did kick a 66-yard field goal, except that it don't matter because it won't count. Let's bring this up on the screen here. Let me see if I can play it without. Oh no, it went to the wrong thing. Let's do share this tab instead.
There we
He
go.
booted it.
Drills it,
Oh,
doesn't
nope.
have enough. Oh!
Mute that so we don't get zucked. He made it. Everybody happy. But guess what, Cowboys fans? It don't matter.
No, not
Yeah.
one bit. Great, 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 great. You know what, King? I actually got something phenomenal stat for you regarding Michael Jeffrey Jordan.
Let's hear it.
The last game played at the old Chicago Arena was a charity baseball or charity basketball game, and Michael Jordan at the end of it broke the scoring record by scoring 70 some odd points in a charity basketball game for Scottie Pippen in the last ever event at the old Chicago Arena before the Allstate Center came open. Is that still, or the United Center? So that being said, Michael Jordan technically had the scoring record before they demolished it. The NBA record, though, is the one that still officially stands for that arena. It don't matter that MJ actually has the scoring record, but that old arena, technically, he does have the scoring record, but he dropped it, whatever, however many points it is. There are unofficial types of things. Mickey Mantle once hit a 600 or something foot home run in spring training against the Dodgers so many years ago that people finally thought that like nobody would ever hit something like that. But guess what? That was in the daggone preseason. Nobody cared about that home run. There are more people that are talking about the tape measure home runs that Mark McGwire would hit or Mantle would hit. Hell, even Reggie Jackson hit one that hit the transformer on top of the roof of Tiger Stadium. People still talk about that one because that happened in an all-star game. But guess what? It didn't count. Longest ever home run in Major League Baseball history was a little bit over 500 feet. All of these other monstrous home runs never had the tail of the tape. So Major League Baseball history is a little bit thrown off. It don't matter because you know why? NFL in the frickin' preseason, nobody remembers anything. About the biggest thing that I ever remember about the NFL preseason was the fact that Victor Cruz torched the Jets in the first preseason game of the 2010 series, and I only remember that because it was on fucking Hard Knocks. I don't remember anything else in the preseason. You could have told me that Tim Tebow had a tryout for the fucking, LA Raiders to be the Sebastian Janikowski's freaking thing. And I'd believe you because it sounded like something he would do. Like, I don't even remember, and this is a long one ago, I don't even remember Jerry Rice being invited to the freaking Broncos training camp after he was on the Seahawks. That can show you how much interest everybody has regarding the NFL preseason. Nobody gives a flying fuck. Nobody cares what records you break. And unless it happens in the actual competition, it doesn't matter.
Now, the record is currently held by the Baltimore Ravens kicker Justin Tucker, which is 66 yards. That was done in it was fairly recent, man. What year was this? This was
Harriet Sullivan, as soon as you said those first three letters, I kind of thought about something else, but now I had to read your entire comment. And, well, it's cool, but there was definitely something else I saw after I saw those three sentences. Sorry, I am a guy.
It was in 2021. That's when Justin Tucker had set the record. Now, Coach brought up
Yes.
something that I'm going to cover, but before I do, I want to acknowledge Peter Liberzitsits. I don't know how you say your name, and especially the correct way because it's Greek. And man, I can.
Why can't we just call them grooming and reviews? I mean, do we have to have the kayfabe on Pete?
We can't go grooming and reviews. I can't call him.
Pete, we're trying to get you some more subscribers, buddy.
The Greek Pete. He has a YouTube channel, Grooming and Reviews 101. Fantastic brother. But I got the chance to see him this weekend. He came up for our FTX game night, and we played this game called It's Muffin Time, which, Coach, if you got the ability to play that with, let's say, about 4 or 5 other veterans around, buy the game. It's so worth it. I left the Pop Culture Warrior dungeon and immediately purchased that game for myself. It's a good time. I highly recommend it.
I wish I could
check it out. But Pete, it was good to see you, man.
I wish I could, man. I honestly, I barely have time to play with myself. So, Anyway, let's move on. That was.
Let's see. Ooh, all right. So Harriet said, I boned myself once.
That's where I said the first 3 letters. I was like, whoa. Wait a second.
To Laughlin since the military moved you to San Diego from 81 to 2009. And you had Chargers tickets. Okay. So when they were in LA, I think they were in LA during that time. I'm sorry, San Diego. And you had Chargers tickets. Yeah, that's right. They were in San Diego prior to LA. Had Chargers season tickets in 1994 before the football season started, and I boned myself as you were looking at the bedroom wall, and you had it was a 600 to 1 odds that the Chargers would win the playoffs, and 60 to 1 that they would win the Super Bowl. And my husband said no, they aren't going to F me, and I never listened to him again. Wait, did the Chargers win that year?
No, that was the year that they went against San Francisco in the Super Bowl. That was the year Seau was on there. I think Natron means, oh God, I can't remember the quarterback, but they had a good team that year.
Damn.
And
Still.
if I'm right,
Oh,
I think they beat the Steelers. The Steelers or the Colts, either one of those two teams, it reminds me of the ones but either one of those two they beat in the AFC Championship game, and then they played against San Francisco with Steve Young and Rice and Dion, and at that point that team was freaking phenomenal. There, San Diego actually had the most, either the second most or the most lopsided loss in NFL history at that game. Like
you
they
gotta
didn't
be
even cover. Yeah,
sick. You you
yeah.
you
Like
gotta be sick. Dude, Harriet, I'm looking at that now.
yeah,
Wow. Okay, so I've got the brackets up. They played in the AFC division game against Miami, 1-1.
that was against Marino too, if I'm right. I think that was Marino's last year too.
They followed that up with the AFC Championship game against Pittsburgh. They
It
won
was against Pittsburgh. Yep.
against 17-13. And then they got to San Francisco, which San Francisco had to buy over in the NFC. And that 49ers team, they rolled through the playoffs.
What was that? What was the final score of that one? 49-21, I
It
think.
was 49-26.
49-26. Damn. Yeah.
Man, 600 to 1 odds, and you didn't put that bet down. Yeah, even if you just do
Well,
$5.
and
Oh,
she could have been at every single game going. Well, if I'm right, I don't remember if they hosted a playoff game that year. That Miami game they may have hosted.
it was at home against Miami,
Okay, and then it was away at
away against
Pittsburgh, right?
Pittsburgh.
Yep, yep. All right.
Oh,
Yeah, no, that and Junior was, that was when Seau was at his best. That's when, like, Junior was the one, they had the whole say ow OW at the end of it, SAYOW. That was his whole thing on that. But that defense was pretty damn good. And
I'd be
yeah.
sick. I don't care about none of that you just said. I just care about 600 to 1. Oh, I'd be
Oh
sick.
yeah, that would have been well. That was just to make the playoffs, which they did. I don't know what the
Oh,
odds would have been to make the Super Bowl, but I mean, dang on, that would have been, yeah.
mm,
That 94-95 season wasn't a good season for me. I'll say that. The Jets, I think, either had Pete Carroll that year and just missed the playoffs, or something was happening around there. So yeah, that was that's where I can kind of go. Those betting odds, yeah, that would have been a perfect betting odds. And there's some of them, when it comes down to the preseason, you kind of look at it like, man, I wish I would have done that. It's always those playoff teams out there. It's always good to, you know, King. I actually realized this in a
what's up?
way. In a way, there is a way to make money, just betting off the NFL, and it's straight up by odds. If you make a $10 bet on every team making the postseason, and you go by the odds and the factors of them doing that, you're going to end up making money in the end. I want to take a look at that. I really do want to take a look at that to see if you put in $10 on each person, and let's just say like how much it was from like the last year. We go on the betting odds. I want to see if you can actually make enough money to cover your ass on it.
Let
And
me see.
yeah,
Let me see what the best are
hey,
currently.
And while you're doing that, I am going to read this diatribe that David Cunningham just put into the comment. Jesus Christmas. Did you just AI this whole thing right here? All right. Well, from David Cunningham, while King's researching this, the phrase "it doesn't matter" is from the 1979 movie Meatballs, in which Bill Murray's character, Tipper Harrison, delivers a motivational speech to his campers at Camp North Star. Campers chant the phrase as they leave to complete the. Tripper says, "It doesn't matter if we win or lose, it just doesn't matter." Oh, my dear God Almighty! How much? Now, condition. Do you know what they use the most sophisticated training methods from Soviet Union and East and West Germany and the new? Damn, dude, I don't know what in the hell just happened on that one. Yeah.
Um,
um, let's
I've
just
got
say
to
that
read.
I think David, right now, you either have just been hacked by the AI robot, or
Hey,
you've got a big copy and paste right there, man. Daggone.
I'm gonna tell them exactly what happened. I don't know if you saw earlier, but there was what looked like a bot. Hannah Maya was like, "David, how are you doing? Your comments are always interesting. Friend me so that we can have a chat in Facebook Messenger." And David said, "Sorry, Hannah, wrong site. This is not Tinder." I think David might
No,
have
this is
accepted
chicken
it.
tender.
I think David might have accepted it, and then this is the result of him being hacked.
Oh dear God. This might be, pal.
Oh, but okay. So I did look it up. I did find it, and it would not. I was like, Vegas has to be smarter than that. So as of right now, this is the odds that was last updated July 29th. And the worst odds to make the playoffs are currently held. Oh, who would you think that it would be actually?
Worst odds to make the
To
playoffs.
make the playoffs.
Giants are definitely not looking good this season.
Okay.
Raiders are not looking good this season. Carolina is definitely still in a rebuilding mode.
Mm-hmm.
Patriots don't know, but Drake May is at least promising. And I'm trying to think of Chicago. It looks a little bit better. I'm not sure about the California teams like the Chargers and all them. And I don't know about Houston or the other central teams. So I am going to say either Carolina again
Okay.
or the Giants, possibly Denver. Who do we got?
Wow. So you named three of the four teams.
Oh shit!
And before I do, let's see. He said go Browns. David said the Jags. Okay, so I'm going to bring this up on the screen. I forgot about this team, but think about who Bill Belichick left.
The Patriots. I said the Pats, didn't I?
You named
But I
them
said with
in the
Drake
final.
May,
Yeah.
they're possibly getting a little bit better.
Yep. So let me do this here. I think it might be too small to see. Yep, but it is the New England
The
Patriots
Pats.
at
Holy
plus.
shit! Yeah.
Yep, at plus 950. So
And I was gonna
essentially,
say, the Titans in there as well too. Those were the six teams that I had in mind, and then
mhm,
after that, I kept going from there. So
the
okay,
surprise, the surprise, the Bears. And I'm going to come back and talk about the Bears here in a minute. But to answer the question, if you spent $10 on
well,
all NFL teams, there's 32 teams, that's $320. If you did just the worst team, the payout on that $10 would be $95. So if you did the math and did, let's see, each of the top five, you might be able to make that. No,
you
actually,
have to have
yeah,
but
yeah.
see, that's the thing right there, is that you have to have those people coming up. Now, I just noticed, scroll up a little bit. There's your point of demarcation right there, because now you're looking at minus 475. And if you added up all those numbers with the pluses and minuses and put $10 down on each of them, that's where you will find whether that thing is rigged to say yes or no. But this is where the lines kind of get to you.
Mhm.
Barring injury, those top two will definitely get into the playoffs. Barring injury, those two will be wild card. Injury from Lions, Eagles, Cincy, and I'm talking injury to quarterback. And I'm saying it, you know what? And I will actually say this right there, and I'm including everybody in on this list. If any of those QBs go down, I think the Kansas City Chiefs and the San Francisco 49ers are the only two that are going to make that because I'm looking at the QBs for every single one of them. And I don't know about Kirk Cousins, but I don't think that he's going to end up making the playoffs. I think there's going to be a down part on that. But if I look at every single one of those other ones right there that are in the negative, to include the Jets, if their QBs go down, they may not make the playoffs. They will most likely not make the playoffs. Well, with the exception of Dallas, because every time Dak goes down, there's always a chance that Dak's replacement's coming. So every other team besides Kansas City, San Francisco, and the off chance on Dallas, if they lose their QB, they're gone. So they're a QB away from not making the playoffs.
As I'm looking at these odds, the Atlanta Falcons were a surprise at this line here. And the other surprise, the Miami Dolphins being as far down as they were. I'm actually I'm high on the Dolphins this year. After taking a look at their offense, their defense, what they're going to be able to do in the division, I believe that they could. I believe that they're competitive to the championship, the AFC Championship, and then from there, it depends on who's.
Oh, all right.
It's the Chiefs to lose.
Yeah. Now, here's this. I want you to take a look right here, and let's look right now at the AFC teams. So we've got the Chiefs, we've got the Falcons,
The Falcons are
we've,
NFC.
or I'm sorry, we've got the Chiefs, we've got the Ravens, we've got the Bengals, we've got the Bills, 4, the Texans, 5, Miami, 6, Jets, 7. You mean to tell me that they are predicting 3 teams out of the AFC East?
Hmm.
Let's get tropical. Oh, sorry, Concordia. Okay, Conrad. That was a good one. Um, but oh dear God, it's raining bad outside right now. They're really right now. The NFL is betting that 3 teams out of the AFC East are going to make the playoffs. Now look at the bottom. I now understand why they are looking at what's it called? Possibly putting that in. I'm trying to look at a correlation. These guys are definitely putting the numbers in, so I can see it. It's going to end up being even unless upsets start coming in. If the Jets do beat up on inter-rival teams, and it looks like, and if you're looking at it, there's the Patriots. The Jets finally got rid of that freaking Bill Belichick bugaloo, and they're probably going to end up winning against the Patriots. I don't see the Patriots beating Miami nor the Buffalo Bills. So maybe with them going to 0-6 in the division, they have something part right there of being the worst team. To me, I still think Carolina is the worst team. That's me. I say that Carolina is Carolina right now. There is is there any airmen over there by any chance? But I think looking at it, okay, Carolina's now at 800. I think Carolina's still going to be the worst team. Bryce Young, I don't think, has an O line to protect him. He is way too fragile, and there's not enough offensive weapons. Plus, that ownership team is absolutely terrible. Denver Broncos have moved on from freaking Russell Wilson, and might I also add, Russell Wilson is looking like crap in Pittsburgh, but they're moving on, and they did not draft a quarterback of 2024, 2025. They're going to be looking for it. The Patriots, May is looking good, But that 0-6 inside the AFC East, as some of these people are predicting that it's going to end up being, or definitely 1-5, because they'll probably split the fucking Jets on the last one, bastards. That being said, I really don't. I can see that, but I still think Carolina's the worst. I think Carolina's going to get their asses kicked, and the only chance that they have any for out a division win is going to be Tennessee, who, yeah, is worse than the Jets, but nah, sorry. Carolina's still going to be worse.
We have it on tape. We can mark it. Let's mark it at August 18th at about 9:10 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah.
Coach said if he was putting the odds, you can put good money.
But I am going to
That's
give
what's up.
you that they are going to be the not the worst in the NFC South. I am actually going to give you something up here that's going to shock you. You definitely have your worst team in your top 4.
Okay.
I am saying this right now with the number 1 pick of the 2025 NFL draft. The New York Giants will select.
Yo.
Yes. I believe that they were in a no-win situation between Daniel Jones and Saquon Barkley at the right place and right time, and the Giants did not do what they should have done at the end of last season, which was to get rid of both of them and start new. They lost Saquon, and Daniel Jones is coming back from an injury. And let's be quite honest, Daniel Jones was not lighting it up coming back from an injury. And there's also not going to be a lightning rod quarterback this year in New York. Daniel Jones, by comparison to frickin' Zach Wilson, was like Eli Manning to damn Kerry Collins. Okay. There was a massive difference. Zach Wilson was crucified by every New York pundit left and right. Daniel Jones got it easy because Zach Wilson was that bad. That's the damn truth. Daniel Jones has a playoff win, but you know who else does? Gardner Minshew.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. The New York Giants this season just seem to be a team that's going to be destined for the number 1 pick in the draft. Daniel Jones has not shown, he's shown his ceiling. Saquon Barkley had run the gambit through New York and wasn't pulled up. That O-line has not been addressed. That D-line is a couple injuries away from being useless, just like at the end of this year. David Cunningham, that might actually be something. We'll get to that in a minute. And on top of that, Daniel Jones has no place to hide. Even if freaking Aaron Rodgers gets injured. And last year, this would have been completely out of the fucking realm of possibility. Let's just be quite honest. I had an impassioned speech. I nearly thought we were going to win the fucking Super Bowl at this time last year. But if Aaron Rodgers gets injured again, this will be a pill that we can swallow because we're not coming in with any expectations this year. Period. None whatsoever. If they do great, it's fucking awesome. If they actually bring the Super Bowl this year, we're not expecting it. Last year we were. So he's not going to have a fucking target on his back. Aaron Rodgers needs to fucking do something or say something stupid about Kamala Harris for Daniel Jones not to get the shithead this year. That's where it's got to come, okay? But don't hold that against Aaron Rodgers because that might happen.
All right.
Daniel Jones got no place to hide. That coaching staff is gone. That entire team is there, and that fan base is tired of the same crap from that organization. I hear it every time I listen to WFAN. Nobody talks about the Giants in the same manner that nobody talked about the Mets when they were going to have shitty seasons. In the same manner that nobody talked about the Knicks for years. That's the level of the Giants' popularity. The only reason why Giants are still on the radar right now is because the NFL is king.
Somebody clip that and send it to CQ.
No, send it to him. He'll agree with me. He will agree with me. Any true New Yorker will agree with me that Daniel Jones is going to bomb this year, and they want him to bomb so bad they want the number one pick in the draft because it's the only way that you can guarantee that your team is going to end up with a freaking Super Bowl winning quarterback.
We talked about the Chicago Bears, and you mentioned the Hard Knocks earlier. I watched on Max the first 2 episodes of Hard Knocks, the Chicago Bears, and I have a lot of things to say about that. So first of all, let me get this up here on the screen. It's not ready. Let's see. Hard Knocks Chicago Bears. My producer should be fired. All right. Um, so Hard Knock Chicago Bears,
Which meme? I don't know which
very
meme you're talking
entertaining. I thought it was fantastic.
about.
I only watched the first 2 episodes, and brother, coach, man, I am a huge fan of Caleb Williams. I think that everything that he's got going on there and the way that the organization is building him up, it can be difficult. And on episode 2, Coach Saban came in, and the head coach for the Bears, Flus. I'm gonna just call him Flus because his whole last name Eberflus. It sounds like I'm putting a curse on somebody. Eberflus. Coach Flus is putting all of the resources, all of the things to get Caleb the ability to be great as a year one quarterback. And when you look at the history of year one quarterbacks that are starting, that come in with a lot of hype, recently, CJ Stroud proved to be the quarterback that kind of broke the mold on how a rookie quarterback can succeed in the NFL. But I don't think he's going to have a long NFL career because if you take a look at what Cam Newton did, Cam
Hmm.
came in and set the NFL on fire his rookie year, but he also had a lot of that high expectations, and he ended up making rookie of the year his first 2 games, damn near through like for 900 yards and some change. But his career didn't last long. The opposite of Manning. Peyton Manning came into the league. He had he was given high expectations as a rookie as well. And so far, I don't think anybody's gonna beat Manning's pick record for a rookie. I don't see it being possible. But Manning was one of the only few quarterbacks that had high expectations that came in and had a long career playing as a rookie in the league. I think Caleb Williams can break that mold.
All right. So there have been successful rookies that have been there. Yeah. I still am at the part that even though we have our rules of the Peyton Mannings and our rules of, and let's also remember Roethlisberger was also a rookie and brought them all the way to the AFC Championship game. So you've got your Roethlisbergers, you got your Mannings, you got your, oh God, who was the last number one that started, and your Cam Newtons that, when they get their number one pick and they start and everything's kind of good to go. Um, but let's also remember too that quarterbacks, Super Bowl winning quarterbacks like Matthew Stafford and old boy that was up here in that just went to the one over there, Goff in Detroit, and a lot of them for their first year where they were playing and they did serviceable, and it took them a little bit longer onto their career. Hell, it even took a couple of them to go to a different place to get better. I'm not saying that Caleb Williams is going to be destined to succeed his first year. A lot of that also has to do with keeping Caleb Williams upright. That is where, okay, let's be honest. The last several quarterbacks that have been very great right off of the gate have also been phenomenal mobile quarterbacks.
Yes.
Let's remember RG3's rookie year. Let's remember Jackson's rookie year, and old boy Murray too. Their mobility was what it was able to save them. The offensive line keeping them upright, and as Caleb Williams can remain upright, he can be a little bit more successful. Peyton Manning, we knew his limitations on there. That's why he had to throw, because he was not able to move around. If a decent O line can keep him up, he will be okay. I don't have the confidence in that because the Bears always have something that will deter the quarterback. And I'm not saying this in the sense of the O line or the teammates, but there's always other factors with Chicago, and it mainly has to do with the weather. I'm wondering about how mobile he's going to be during those days in Chicago where it's going to be wet. In those cold Chicago days, how that wind's going to pick up right there out of the stadium. Plus, he's playing in freaking, he's going to be heading up to Green Bay. He's going to be heading to Detroit. What's the other team up there? The other, the North. Oh, well, never mind. Two of those places right there. He's got to go up to Green Bay, and he's got to play
Green
right
Bay?
there. What's that?
I know. I thought you were talking about Green Bay.
No. But he's got to play outdoors. He's going to be playing, but two of the places he's playing in domes on the road. But he's going to be playing the majority of his own. He's going to be playing all of his home games there. It's going to be freaking cold in Chicago and cold in Green Bay. It may not be the best situation for him on a rookie year. And for every Peyton Manning, and for every, that Peyton Manning might also add, was 3-13 his rookie year. The only real successes that you've had to get their teams in the playoffs over the recent years have been RG3, CJ Stroud, Ben Roethlisberger, and I don't even think Cam got Carolina into the playoffs that rookie year. But you're looking at a very select few of number one picks that have gotten or rookies that have gotten their teams into the playoffs. The second worst team in the NFL last year, with a mess of a situation going into the playoffs, Caleb, it could happen, but I don't see it happening, man. I'm sorry. Here's another thing. If we were even going to go over number one picks, let's just start off with number two picks and number three picks. Because Stroud was number, 3 that he ended up going, or number 2? I can't remember where CJ ended up going.
I think Stroud was 2.
Stroud was 2. So look at the number 2 pick right behind Peyton Manning, Ryan Leaf. Let's look at the number 1 pick the year after. That's Tim Couch. The year after that was Courtney Brown, but then I believe the year after that was Atlanta trading up to get Michael Vick. And yeah, Vick as a running quarterback was great, but here we go again with Vick being the QB. 2002, I don't remember who the hell it is, but that's where I'm coming from. 2003, I know it was Eli, and Eli didn't start his rookie year. It actually went. The Kurt Warner was the starting quarterback right at the beginning, and then Eli started towards the end of the year.
Here are right here. This is a good time to bring this in. To date, right? There has never been a rookie quarterback that has won 3 playoff games.
Yep.
There have been 3 rookie quarterbacks that have won 2 playoff games. Flacco in 2008.
Okay.
Sanchez in 2009. And Brock Purdy in 2022.
Yeah. I forgot about Purdy.
Yeah. Same year. Because he came in. I mean, that team That sort of
Yeah, because
that he inherited.
Garoppolo ended up winning it, and then what's his name? Oh God, Trey Lance got injured, and he was just the third and ended up getting everything.
Yeah,
So yeah,
he was the third in line on the team that had a phenomenal fucking defense.
yeah,
And all he had to do was essentially be a game manager and not mess up. Although he looked good, right? He was more of a game manager role. And there's been several
yeah.
that have won at least
But
one.
he was a game manager. But. I'm going to say this though: you've got two great wide receivers and a great tight end as your game manager, and you were going as a game manager for them. His tools and weapons were much better than a game manager that anybody else had. Like, they expected Zach Wilson to be a game manager with all the tools that he had, and he wasn't able to manage any of these other ones. No, Purdy had the tools offensively to be able to not only just manage that game, but to also be able to flourish with them in the same way that what's his name did, Brady did.
Hmm.
Yeah.
We got a question in the chat about what do we predict about the Washington Commanders. I want to go see a Washington Commanders game as they're right down the road from me. I'm curious to see what Jaden Daniels is going to do
Mm,
if he's out there. But taking a look at what the odds have them at, the odds makers have them winning around 6.5 games this year. I would take the over on that. I think they could hit
oh,
7.
I'm going to take the under on that one. I'm going to give it
Oh,
5, but I am
okay.
going to say that this year for the Redskins, nothing on the field is going to be the big news. I am actually going to say that the big news, and hear me out because it's this year and it's a voting year, and because this has been a fucking issue, I am going to say that by the end of this year, FedEx Field is going to have a closing date. RFK is going to be demolished, and the Redskins are going to announce a new stadium in Washington, D.C. by the end of this season. That's going to be the highlight of the 2024 Washington Redskins season. That, to me, is what's going to end up happening. Because
Wow.
to be
So
honest with you, I really don't pay any mind to the Redskins. The only thing I care about was if Daniel Snyder was gone, and now he's gone, and now it's at the part where I don't care anymore. The
you
Redskins, they have the worst stadium in the NFL.
I can tell because you refuse to even show them respect by saying their current name.
Oh, damn, I forgot. Holy crap, I forgot they're not the Redskins anymore. Wow.
Yes. Yeah. And you just kept going with it. I was like, wait, is he being facetious? But you just kept going with it. So you said that the Commanders will not even have finish at their current they're going to announce that this year is going to be
I
their
think that
last year.
no. It's not going to be their last year. I'm going to say that that this whole stadium situation has
That's what I
been
mean.
a
The last year
thorn in
at
the side.
that stadium.
No. 20. I'm going to say 2027 is going to be the last year at the stadium,
Gotcha.
because by 2028, I think whomever is in the presidency at
Okay.
that time may be seeking her second term.
Oh, I heard
Just,
your words.
just saying. Well, I mean, for fuck's sake, the betting odds are all over it, and Trump keeps shooting himself in the foot. But
But that's Teflon Don, man.
no, it's not.
I've learned not to bet against that dude.
Okay, I'm not getting into politics on this. Let's go move on. But what I'm going to say is that there is that political element on this. What I do believe is that that stadium has been a point of contention for a rotting stadium inside the nation's capital. It's going to be utilized
It's
for
trash.
political purposes, and this is the ideal time. They couldn't do it in 2020, and even if they did, I don't think either of them would have done so with the current owner or with the former owner of the Commanders.
Okay.
So now that the new one's there, And because this has been a hot button topic ever since the teams moved out of there, and it's been rotting in the middle of Washington, D.C. as absolutely nothing, it will be taken care of this year because of the political climate. So that will be the big thing for them. But as far as the football field, I mean, sorry, David, dude, I don't know who the hell's on that team. And I'll be quite honest with you. In the words of Mike Francesa when he found out that Stan Lee died, who cares?
David, I'll answer and close it out by saying this. I'm looking at their schedule. All right. They're going to be third in their division. They're not going to be in front of the Eagles. They're not going to be in front of the Cowboys.
They
will
definitely will be in front of the
of the
Giants.
Giants. So let's start there. All right. So that's 4 losses.
That might be the one Giants win.
The rest of their schedule, taking a look, they got Atlanta, New Orleans, Tennessee, Pittsburgh, Chicago, Carolina. So there's one.
Okay,
win.
so they got 2 wins.
Who's the second one, Coach?
Carolina and the Giants.
Oh, well, no. I'm excluding. Oh, well, yeah. So include the Giants. So there's 3 wins because they played the Giants twice. So that's
No. I'm going to give them 1-1. That's going to be one Giant
Ooh.
win. Yeah, they're going to split it.
Okay, so they
I
start.
give it a home and home.
Okay, so they start the season against Tampa Bay, and they play New York at New York. So you're saying that home win is that each home team is gonna win that matchup?
Yeah, they're gonna trade. Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
Okay, they got the Bengals, the Cardinals, the Browns, Baltimore. So
I don't see many wins in there. I see maybe
take
4
that back.
or 5.
I go to the under now. 4 wins max.
I'm going to give 5. I'm going to give 5 because there's always an any given Sunday every year. I mean, for fuck's sake, the Jets won week 1 against the Bills with Zach Wilson replacing fucking,
Yeah.
There's an any given Sunday always in the NFL. There's 1 or 2, and I'm talking about the any given Sunday as in your team shows up and the other team doesn't, or the nail biter where, holy crap, everything finally goes your way on the last minute. There's 1 or 2 of them every season. So as you look at them, I see the New York game as one of the wins, one of the Carolina games. I will actually give them a Tennessee win.
Oh,
yeah, I'm going to give them I'm a little bit down on Tennessee right now. I will possibly give them an Atlanta game as well because they always end up seeming to do something. And those any given Sunday games, I kid you not, I give that one on November 14th to at Philadelphia.
okay.
Those are your any given Sunday games. Those are, or excuse me, lack of a better term, the any given Thursday
game because that was going to be on Prime.
And look, those things are a crapshoot because I'm even taking the away team who is, Washington to Philadelphia is nothing. That's a fucking bus ride. They can stay at their house and just drive up there. That's not that fucking far.
I just might go to the sports books.
No, but do you see where I'm coming at? Like, that's a fucking Amtrak trip.
Yeah,
that's what that is. And I've seen Baltimore do no. Okay, I'll get to that. But to finish up with Washington, 5 wins. 6, depending on how Chicago goes. I can 5 to 6 is where I'm going to go. I'm going to go high 6, low 3, about 5 for this year.
Okay, I got 5 max now. There's one other thing I want to show, and then we could get off of the NFL.
Well, hey, let me. No. While you're getting that stuff up, I do want to bring this up. So, Christmas of 2000, when the Jets were playing the frickin' Baltimore Ravens, I want to say maybe it was 1 or 2 days before Christmas or after Christmas. It was the last time somebody had a 400-yard game, and that was when Vinny Testaverde was out there. Well, fucking Specialist Joe Loban was on one of those trains heading up from North Carolina to freaking New York so I can go home, right? I did not know this, but we got past Baltimore and we had to pull off the track because I kid you not, a freaking charter train carrying the New York Jets was coming up from Baltimore through there. I know that every person does that there. They keep everybody and then they ship them down by a train into there that night because of how close the Northeast Corridor does. That's how they do that. So those players, yeah, they're playing in Philadelphia on a Thursday night. They will just leave that Wednesday and it will just stay in the hotel and then go home to their home that night. That's what will happen.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know that I mean, I'd rather do it that way too.
Yeah,
Go just
and, and
dry.
it's that's kind of the thing about the Northeast, and here we go with that whole thing of New York and Jersey and all that other shit out there. Even with the traffic coming out or mass transportation, there's certain hubs, and the way the football is set up in New Jersey, it's much easier for them to take a train literally from the fucking Meadowlands right down the Northeast corridor into either Philly or frickin' one of those places. They can literally do that right at a junction from the Meadowlands. Any of those teams can do that. Philly has their own train track right by the stadium. Baltimore, you probably know, is over there, and I don't know what the hell the deal is with Washington, but I know that Washington's, right off of 95. So that's like a charter bus 4 hour ride from Landover to New York City. It's
Mhm.
not that far.
Nope.
Yeah. Those are
Which
home
is
games, man.
which that's one of the things that I do love about living where I live is I've got the Commanders who I've been to their stadium.
Yeah.
It's trash. I mean, I'm gonna just say that.
FedEx
Yeah,
Field is terrible. Yeah.
it's
And
terrible.
it's in the middle of fucking nowhere, like over in
I've
that area.
mhm. I've got the Ravens. If I wanted to go into Meadowlands, it's right up the road. I haven't been to a Philadelphia Eagles game yet,
Okay.
and I might look at the schedule and try my
All
dance.
right.
But if I do, you know what? That Thursday game's at Philly.
Hey, wait a minute.
I
Wait a minute.
I think I'm off that Friday
King, wait a second. Army Navy. Didn't we say we were going to go to Army Navy this year?
this year.
Isn't it in
Mm,
Lincoln Financial Field?
let's talk.
Wait
Let's
a
talk.
minute. Yeah. Hold on. I'll Google it while you bring up the other stuff, man. Let me take care of that. Let me take care of that while you got your next thing.
All right. So the last thing to close out with the sports, with football specifically, is I saw this right here. So this is most decorated gold medalist Simone Biles rocking her husband's jacket. But if you take a look at this, her husband plays for the Chicago Bears this year. He used to be a Green Bay Packers. As a matter of fact, he's been in the league since 2018. Started with the Cardinals, played several years for the Texans, but last season he was with the Green Bay Packers. So she showed up yesterday to a preseason game wearing her husband's Green Bay jacket. All right. Now, I thought that this was hilarious. She had to have known better as well. But what I do love about this picture, for people that don't know, Jonathan Owens and Simone Biles have been married for just over a year now. I want to say approaching 2 years. And how they met were for celebrities, essentially, high net worth people. I believe it was Raya. Okay. And Jonathan Owens initially didn't think that it was the actual Simone Biles. Well, when you're somebody of notoriety, your dating pool's just different. But they met, they went out on a couple of dates. And when you watch the Hard Knocks, the coach did it right. He didn't make it so that it was mandatory that Jonathan Owens had to be at training camp and all of that jazz. In that, look, your wife, your spouse is competing in the Olympics. You're excused from training camp. Go be with your spouse to support her at the Olympics. And they made that known that there was not going to be any argument against that. So even though Jonathan Owens, who's not considered I mean, he's a starter, but he's not considered like a solidified guy. They made it known that we're not going to penalize you for missing 2 or so weeks of training camp to go support your husband. I'm sorry, support your wife. You go do that, and you could see how much Jonathan and Simone Biles support each other. And I'm rooting for this marriage. Like it's rare to see a young couple like this, both very public, really be into each other, but you could tell that they're locked in and really into each other. So this is one of those young celebrity marriages among athletes that I really hope goes the distance.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, so let's put a little bit of realism in here. And I am just going to say this in this sense and only in this sense. Everything will be good as long as he doesn't make a bonehead play for the rest of his career. And I am going to let you know about this, and this is just a little bit of a reminder. But there was a girl by the name of Kendra who used to be a Playboy playmate. And if I'm remembering correctly, she was married to a guy by the name of Hank, who was a wide receiver for the Indianapolis Colts. Well, everything was great with Kendra and Hank. And, and even though Kendra was showing her tits and there were sex videos, everything was okay for it. Until Hank, botched the frickin' onside kick in the Super Bowl against the New Orleans Saints. And might I also add, that was also the difference maker because the Saints scored on that next play, and whatever the score was, it ended up being the place for it. So, yeah, Hank did not go that. And now, might I add, their marriage is definitely over.
Definitely over.
Look, things can happen out there. Travis and frickin' what's her fucking face, they look great. Oh yeah, by the way, Ciara and hey, just gonna say this: Russell Wilson was a Super Bowl winning quarterback, and then met Ciara, and then his career just kind of never was the same again, never meeting the same heights. You might be Giselle, but your pussy better be better than the Brazilian jiu-jitsu teacher that freaking took Giselle over Tom Brady. That's all I'm going to say, Simone. You better be putting those gymnastics to better use in the bedroom just to make sure that your man does not mess up on any given Sunday. There's my chauvinism for the day.
You know what? There's a lot.
Sorry, Harriet, if you're still listening.
Hey, people that talk about Simone and Jonathan's relationship, it's funny because they look at it.
Hey, wait a minute. Harriet just supported me. Guess what? I guess Simone's gymnastics techniques are definitely working right there. She is pregnant.
Nope. It's false. That is false. I was going to address that after I got done. She is not pregnant. Those were rumors, and because the moment she said it, I looked it up quickly. I cannot find a source that supports that she is pregnant.
Oh, okay. Yeah, ESPN would have ran with that by now.
Yeah,
that would have either been broken, but actually, that might have been broken by TMZ. TMZ has the two best things: they either announce pregnancies or they announce deaths faster than absolutely anybody.
Mm-hmm. Now, folks consider it a glow up for Jonathan, not Simone, that he's with her. People are like, they don't know who he is. Like, he doesn't have
that's
as easily recognizable face as she does. Now, part of that is he plays in a league where he's wearing a helmet, but that's partly true, because if you saw Jameis Winston in public, you would know that that's Jameis Winston.
I
Or
got
I'm trying
no
to
idea.
think of a current active player.
I got no idea. I got no idea what the hell Jameis Winston looks like. The only way I know Jameis Winston is if he's got a Publix bag full of crab legs.
Hold on, let me do this. But in my opinion, I don't know. I think Jonathan knows what he has, and with what I
Yeah.
saw on TV, I think that they've got the stuff to go, all the way. But you could have said the same thing about Kendra and Hank early on,
You know what?
and
And,
the
and,
news that came out about them was
I
just tragic.
I just kind of realized something. And you brought up a phenomenal point. And I am now thinking about, like, all right, so the two biggest, most marketable commercial stars right now in professional sports for the United States are Travis Kelsey and Patrick Mahomes, right?
Mhm.
Okay. Now, even though they are the most marketable, we know their face, and their face is never really covered up. In their sport, most of the time, their face is completely covered up. Like like nobody ever really realized that huge birthmark was on freaking what's his name's face. That was real. Everybody thought it was face paint. Old boy who used to play for New Orleans, Drew Brees.
Drew Brees.
Okay, so recognizable face as a football star is a little bit more of an accomplishment of how you market yourself out to the public. Like, you don't recognize. I'm saying this right now that if unless they were saying something or unless they were supporting something, I could not tell you what the hell Jimmy Garoppolo looked like versus Will Levis. Okay, I cannot tell you what, and I am being serious here, and this do not say this bad, but I cannot tell you if you showed me Kyler Murray or Deshaun Watson, I wouldn't be able to tell the two apart just based off of facial types of things. Obviously, I know what Eli Manning looks like. I know what all of the Mannings do, but you look at it of the marketability of the NFL and things like that, you barely recognize somebody's face from the player that they are. I have no idea who the hell Alan Lazard is and what he looks like.
Yeah.
I don't know
Yeah, me neither.
what Randall Cobb fucking looks like.
I might be able to
I
recognize
barely know what Brees Hall looks like, and even Sauce and C.J. Wilson, I barely know what they look like. And they're the greatest players on my favorite team.
no doubt.
But when it came to the NBA, your face everything is completely there. Think about this. Even in baseball, you're wearing hats. Nobody knows what the hell Derek Jeter looked like underneath his hat unless he took his hat off. Nobody knows what freaking a hockey player has besides a fucking mullet coming out the back. NBA had the full face for everything, and that's why the NBA was always a golden goose for marketers. Thus, when the NBA had the most marketable person, sports marketing was at its absolute highest. Think about that in that sense. The Olympics. Everybody can recognize an Olympian. Nobody can recognize C.D. Lamb. You know C.D. Lamb's name. We know this French chick ray gun by her face more than we know one of the best wide receivers in the NFL. We know a scrub NBA player, Brian Scalabrine, by face before we know what Tommy DeVito, the backup quarterback of the New York Giants, looks like. And Daniel Jones, too, the fucking starting quarterback. Daniel Jones just looks like your average goofy white guy. And if you saw an average goofy white guy, 10 out of 100 people, if you told them, hey, one of them is an NFL quarterback, would say, yeah, that's Daniel Jones because he's a goofy looking white guy. That's the only fucking distinct feature he's got. That's where I'm saying, man. The NBA, the Olympics, and these things for marketing, we recognize people by their face. Nobody recognizes Simone Biles' husband by her face. They recognize Simone
No,
Biles by her face. Just kind of goes
Dave,
into why marketing, when some people really look at who gets paid the most for marketing, look at the sport that they're playing and see what they're doing outside of it. If they're able to market themselves during the game, they're going to get more money. Lewis Hamilton's not going to get as much money for stuff that he's doing in the race. His car will have his sponsors all over it, but you will definitely see more marketability of a face of a soccer player and a basketball player than you will of any other athlete in the world. Period.
yep, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree 100%. We'll answer this question and then go to the next thing. David Cunningham said, "What do you guys think about Kaepernick being offered a coaching job by Jim Harbaugh with the Chargers and then taken off the table?" Well, I didn't hear that it was taken off of the table. What I had heard this morning as I was listening to things was that Coach Harbaugh did offer the job to Kaepernick, and Cap turned it down because he doesn't want to coach; he still wants to play. That's how I understood it. Coach, are you aware of this, and what are your thoughts?
I've heard two conflicting reasons of why it was off. The first one was off because Kaepernick still is underneath the delusion that he can play. And then the other one was that Harbaugh was talking about his 25 staff, not his 24 staff. So it would be after this season, which doesn't give me enough confidence to find out, like, what is he going to do? Is he going to be a special assistant to the quarterbacks, or is he going to be the fucking, I don't know, the diversity, equality, and inclusion coordinator? I don't know. That being said, if I've heard that, but anything dealing with Colin Kaepernick, just remember who the sources are. If it's Colin Kaepernick, it's more like a delusional bullshit, and especially if it's said by what was that girl's name who was on ESPN that was always, why not Colin, the black girl? I can't remember her name. I'm sorry.
I see your face right now too. I know exactly who it is
Hill
that you're talking about.
something, whatever her name is.
Jamil Hill.
Jamil Hill, yeah, the one who, every time a quarterback comes up, why is Colin Kaepernick not in? Colin Kaepernick's, but if it's coming from those two sources, it just means basically diddly shit. It's just like listening to Alex Jones and talking about Donald Trump.
Now let's see.
Oh dear God, another one. This one coming from Kick.
Yep, and let's hit the block button and block. Boom! I make judicious use of that block button over here. Now let's do these two quick sports updates. I'm just going to announce it, and then I'm going to show a clip.
All right.
Mike Tyson apparently said that he was his health scare. I'm no longer interested in watching that fight. Coach, how about you?
Yeah, I'm still interested in watching that fight. I told you, I'm never not going to be a fan of Tyson. Of course, I want to see Tyson fight. That, you know what? And wasn't that fight supposed to be on like Netflix?
Yes, it was going to be live on Netflix.
So is Netflix done? Did Netflix do this last fight with Jake Paul, and I'm like missing it, or has Netflix done live sports yet?
Not that I'm familiar with.
Okay. All right, I didn't know if that was just something I missed out on something, because normally something like that would have been like Today's Show worthy. The freaking Hoda Kotb would be talking about it.
Okay. Now, Coach, for this next thing, I'm going to do you a favor. I'm going to take you off the screen. I'm going to make the announcement, and then we're going to come back. All right. So, for this next thing, I want to give a congratulations to Indiana Fever's Caitlin Clark as she breaks the WNBA record for assists. She's averaged 8.3 per game. She ended up having 9 today, which gives her the rookie record that was previously set by and I'm gonna mess this up, Tisha Pinicherio back in 1998. So Caitlin Clark setting the WNBA by storm, breaking records. The team's going to have to turn things around since that's a team sport, but they are definitely on their way and has one of the most WNBA's electrifying rookies. And with the Liberty taking down the Las Vegas Aces, they have earned their first playoff berth in the WNBA. All right, we're going to move on. I can bring back coach now, and we'll go from there.
And in other things that happened in the sporting world today, the Bassmaster Classic happened, and some dude caught a 9-pound, 7-ounce bass to take home the first place. He was real happy. He smiled right through his toothful grin, or toothless grin. We couldn't tell because there seemed to be 3 missing in front, with the only one dangling. In other news, NASCAR has also decided that they are not going to drive in the rain on the 2-mile oval of Michigan. And tomorrow at 11 o'clock, we will have live sports, most likely on the USA Network, as the whatever Michigan 400 will commence tomorrow at 11. Dear God, I wish Formula One would come back so that we can talk about something people actually watch instead of, oh, I don't know, the WNBA. Oh, wait a minute. You know what? But I will say something about Caitlin Clark. Okay, I'm not eating my words on this. I am saying this out here. Caitlin Clark was going to be good. She is proving herself to be good. Now, once she gets into the groove of what she is going to be, she's starting to catch up to the speed and the physicality. She will have this entire off season to recuperate. Year 2, I hope that she works on her strength in the off season. Year 2, we're going to see what Caitlin Clark is really going to be like. And I am going to say this, just hear me out, and I am making a very, very, very early prediction. Indiana will be in the Eastern Conference Finals, and if they make it to the WNBA championship, King, I will go to a fucking WNBA game.
We've heard it. Clip that before it gets deleted. Somebody clip that and send it to me. I'll clip it myself.
Hey, it's not a problem. I mean, listen. I will go to a WNBA championship game if Caitlin Clark is there, because that way I can actually say that ticket will not be on VetTix, and I will actually have to properly swallow my words and freaking put money in the WNBA coffer. Okay? That's all I'm going to say. I know that championship game will not be papered and will not be available on VetTix.
Good to know. All right, Coach, have you ever
Yes.
been to the American Dream Mall in East Rutherford, New Jersey?
Oh, yes, I have. Oh, yeah.
How big is that mall? I've never been.
Okay, it is very, very big. You've been to the MCI Center in what's it called in DC, right?
Yes.
Or was the MCI Center, whatever the hell they're calling it now, whatever the area was. So that arena right there is kind of the same size that the Izod Center is, which is in the front parking lot. So what I want you to do is think of making an entire building that would wrap around the entire MCI Center and then expand it twice its size. That is the American Dream Mall. Can I give a fucking history lesson on that son of a bitch?
Yeah, you know what? Go ahead. Did I lose you?
All right.
Oh, there you go.
No, that mall is built about 15 minutes away from where I grew up. Okay, like I could take Route 17 to get down there to the Meadowlands of where that was. Brendan Byrne Arena, which is where the freaking parking lot is where I would go see the Devils games and the Seton Hall games. And when I went to the 1996 NCAA championship game, the freaking Giant Stadium's right across the street. So this whole American Dream Mall was supposed to have started in 2000. That's when they originally broke ground on this whole area. It went through the freaking .com bubble, the freaking subprime mortgage loan, the Great Recession, and all of this through a whole bunch of bullshit economic thing. It took 20 fucking years and 6 different owners, or 3 or 4 different owners, who defaulted on loans left and right to get this thing fixed. And when this thing finally opened and their big attraction was finally ready, guess what happened 2 fucking weeks later?
COVID.
COVID shut down. Oh my God. Now, I went there in March or April of 2022. That was when I went there. Haven't been back there since, and I will say that with the mall opening, there is so much space that even if it was at capacity full, you would feel that there was nobody there at the mall. There is so much parking that is dead. There is so much area that isn't even filled. They have not, like, this whole thing was built for a time 23 years ago when the world was completely fucking different. And the stubbornness of these dumb bastards, because they got so much done before the 2007 thing freaking halted it again, and it should have been the death knell. Oh my God, it was ridiculous. The indoor ski slope was supposed to have been opened sometime around 2007. It went vacant for years, and the freaking roof collapsed because there was too much snow that didn't get cleared off on the damn thing. Yeah,
Wow.
I know about that damn mall. I've seen how big it is. I've walked it. Mr. Beast has done a video inside that mall of a hide and seek for 72 hours or something like that. It is so cavernous that people couldn't find people in there. It is that ridiculous. Yeah. So I know that
Okay.
place, buddy.
All right,
Yeah.
good. So then, if I were to say that an arena football league played their championship game inside of that mall, that wouldn't seem like anything to
Not
field, would it?
one bit. No, not one
Okay.
bit.
Because that is exactly what happened. There was a league that had their arena championship game inside of the mall, and I was like, "Yo, this is crazy." Now, what I like to know, do they charge for these events? Like, is this blocked off into a certain area, and then you have to?
Oh yeah, yeah. Now
Okay.
there are certain things that, like, literally, they can block off the area. But what I think that you just saw right there, what I think you're looking at right there, it kind of does look like it. I think that might actually be the area where the indoor skating rink is over there at the American Dream Mall.
Okay.
There was supposed to be an indoor skating rink there, and I think that that's where the same area is. So, yeah, that doesn't surprise me that they're playing an arena game there, because the arena's configurations are usually the same size as a hockey rink. That's why Fayetteville's got a team, and a couple other places that have hockey also have arena football in the same stadium.
Okay, yeah, because like I see, or at least I thought I saw stores like LMN.
Oh yeah, there's stores up there, buddy. Oh, I kid you not. This is like this. Remember how I said this was what if this was in the 2000s and fucking Amazon never showed up, this place would have been the center of the fucking, capitalist universe. I kid you not. That's what it was supposed to be back in 2000. Here's the great thing too about, like, remember how I said that this thing opened up a couple weeks before COVID in 2020? That thing was supposed to have been opened before 2 or 3 months before, what was it, the 2015 Super Bowl or the 2016 Super Bowl? Which year was the one that they went up to New York City and played at MetLife? Was that? I don't remember the year. In fact, actually, it was a year that I wasn't watching, because I think it was around whenever they started kneeling. There was about a year or two I didn't watch any of football.
2014.
2014. That was when they were supposed to have been. They were supposed to have been open by the winter of 2013. They took another 6 years to frickin' open up that damn place.
Wow.
Now think about this. In this mall right here, you not only have an indoor skating rink, you not only have like anchor stores of like the most exclusive shopping places. Like, I'm not talking about Nordstrom's, I'm talking about like fucking Tiffany's, and their like their satellite stores there. Like, there are fucking flagship stores over here for some of the most high end freaking people, like, on that. But you see how much blank space is up there? Look at that second floor and that third floor up there in that mall.
Yeah.
You know what you're not seeing?
No open.
You're not seeing any stores up there.
Mm-hmm.
You can go down to that first floor, and if you stayed on the first floor and just the first floor, you would say, hey, this has got a decent amount of people in there, even with it being that big. You go up to the second floor and it's a freaking ghost town. And I'm talking ghost town with like $1 million sculptures going down the length of one of the halls. I'm talking about like a ghost town of like a fountain of a mosaic that has like 5 billion, Indian tile crystal types of things, right next to a freaking Dolce and Gabbana, bespoke store, and nobody down there.
I want to go now. I want to go.
It's like half ghost mall, half what in the hell? How much more can you fit in there? It's an experience, and
go.
it's disorienting.
It is only 3.5 hours.
It gets even better, King. You don't even have to drive to get over there. Oh yeah, hold on.
Amtrak.
So you take the Amtrak into either Newark or Penn Station in New York. You take the Amtrak up to Newark, New Jersey, not Newark, Delaware. You take that into either one of those stations. There is a line that runs right to the New Jersey Transit stop, right at the Meadowlands. It's called the Meadowlands Station. This is what I'm talking about how teams are able to get out of giant stadiums so fast. They're able to get transported right to the train station, get on the train from the Meadowlands, and then head over to Newark and then come home from there. You get there from the Jersey Transit Station, you will literally be right there at the mall. You can walk to that. You could make a day trip up and back and not have to take your car if you time the Northeast Corridor, Amtrak, and Jersey Transit on time. There's obviously different schedules, but yeah, it can be done. Yes, it does have a freaking roller coaster in it inside Nickelodeon Land. That's part of it. Oh yeah, there's an indoor Nickelodeon theme park. Yes, there's an indoor Nickelodeon theme park there, including all of that crap that I kept just saying, like the ski slopes, the ice rink, the oh my God, like all the rows of it. It's that big. I guarantee you this. You know what? Here's something with that mall. This is way back in the day, and I know Pete's not on here right now. He's a wrestling fan, so he would get this reference. But back when WCW launched their live show to go against Monday Night Raw, it's called Monday Nitro. They were live from Mall of America. They had a wrestling rink set up. They had the fans around there. And it was actually kind of funny because that was the first time that, really with everything live, you didn't know what was going to happen. And if I'm correct, like Raw was taped Raw, something happened like the week before, and oh damn, Lex Luger was in WWE one week, and then it was live that week, and he showed up on Monday Nitro on that first one. But it was in the Mall of America, which was that big.
I've been
This
there.
area can fit more than enough people to hold a wrestling event or a boxing match, or hell, hockey games. You could probably put people down there and have enough room for 1,000 fans to watch either a minor league hockey or hell, even a high school hockey damn league. Jesus Christ. That's how big that mall is. Oh, and by the way, I'm completely forgetting that there's a fucking hollowed arena that's being used as a sports stage at bigger than the MCI Center or whatever it is in DC that is
Capital
not even
Arena.
being used. The Capital One building.
Arena.
That Capital One Arena. You've got the old Brandenburg Arena that is literally sitting right now as a sound stage for movie productions, but it's a 15,000 person arena that's brand vacant in there. That's technically part of that. Yeah. New Jersey does some stupid damn things, and that by far was the dumbest damn thing that New Jersey has ever done in my lifetime. That is the dumbest thing New Jersey has ever done in my lifetime, and it literally took 20 freaking years to get that thing done. They demolished Old Giant Stadium and put up new MetLife Stadium before that mall was ever opened.
Goodness gracious. Yeah, I brought up the history behind the mall as you were talking about the history, and yikes, the people that put up and lost money in that one. Whew.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that thing has to be like jam packed for like 10 years straight in order to ever start turning a profit or something like that because of all the defaults on the loans. It's literally right now how long is this going to stay open before somebody does something drastic to it?
Okay. Now, Coach, I got one video that I'm going to play. This was sent by my main man, Kaz, and I told him I was going to play this at the beginning of the stream, and I forgot about it. But this is how I know that the Indianapolis Colts are not going to make it to the playoffs. Take a listen.
This is our Colts. This is our team. We bleed blue. This is our Colts. Whether win or lose, we love them. For the shoe, beat the Broncos. Let's show them who the real horse is. This is our team. Go Colts!
I thought that was a meme that this guy produced. Oh, no. He really put that song out there and was proud of that one. So you know what? I'm not going to knock him for his pride in the song. But I was like, no, this can't be an actual song that somebody produced, put a track behind it, and wrote But the part that cracked me up, and I'm just gonna go right back to it. It was this right at the end. Let's bring this up here. Put it up. One more time. Oh man. If this somehow makes it to this guy that created this song, I'd love to have him come on the show and just ask him some questions about the song that he created. What one more time for the people that are listening. Hey, if you're a Colts fan, you should orgasm to that sound.
You remember that meme of Dave Chappelle smoking a cigarette on the toilet, holding up a daggone magazine saying white people on the front,
Yes.
and
Yep.
then him just shaking his head? You need
Yep.
to reenact that right there. That's
David said this guy reminds me of the Australian breakdancer.
I'm embarrassed to be white. I've broken wind that sounds better than that.
It's so great. I think.
Well,
Yeah.
ladies and gentlemen, if it was between, I will tell you right now that would be the greatest advertisement for Christian radio stations.
Yes.
Okay? Because you all know that the only reason why most of the time that you guys listen to a Christian radio station is either A, you either follow Christ, or B, you are scanning through the 80s, 88s, and 89s and all that, and you really want to get through it. But if you heard that song on those, mid 88s channels, and then the next station up was K-Love, you would want to turn it to K-Love just so that you can pray to Jesus to get that sound out of your ears. So that would be an ideal thing for whomever is on NPR or whoever hosts that one station that plays that music, that same Spanish song for 24/7, the one that goes and it just goes on a loop for 24/7 regardless of whenever you come in. It's the same fucking song on AM 540 WADO. Yeah, you need to add that into your repertoire just so that other people can go to the channels and you can make sure that you are the least listened to channel in the station. This boy, or this man, I will put $1,000 down onto the table that this man has never had sex. I will also venture to guess that this man's idea of getting out of his area is going to Evansville from Indianapolis. I believe that if this guy would have ever stepped foot into Gary, Indiana, he may have said something that may have been accidentally racist and would not have walked out of there correctly. He seems to be the oh shucks guy saying, hey, so there is a town or there is a country in Africa that is spelled Niger. Are you from there, my good sir? And if so, may I call you where you're from? That kind of accidental racism. He seems like the kind of guy that after he sneezes, he checks his underwear to make sure he didn't pee himself. He seems to be the kind of person that after masturbation, he needs to ensure that his hands are sanitized with alcohol and other cleaning fluids.
Or he has to make this sound, which I've already added to my soundboard. While you were talking, I added it to the soundboard one more time.
That's why I keep talking, so that you can finally go back and start getting these clips up that you keep saying, clip it. I'm going to save them. I'm waiting for some of my words to come back off of here. This guy not only would have gotten gonged on the Gong Show, but I'm pretty sure that the gong would have gone right to his balls, and he still would have made that same sound because there is nothing there. He would have gotten the gong before Gene and the dancing machine. Okay?
Oh man! All right.
He would have gotten the gong, and Rerun still would have been recording it. Do you know where? Oh, do you remember that one? I know David got that reference.
Mm-mm.
Oh, you don't remember the episode of Good Times when Rerun was recording the music of the Doobie Brothers on the Gong Show?
Mm-mm.
And he was trying to pirate the pirate it. No, I kid you not, man. Yeah. Yeah.
Go back and watch it. Like I've watched every episode of Good Times several times, but I'd have to go back and look at that one specifically. But Coach,
Oh yeah.
What's
up? Yeah, in fact, actually, the Doobie Brothers episode was the only reason why I knew Michael McDonald was white, because I thought he was black.
Hey, I did too. We have 147 live viewers watching, man, and
Yes.
I'm loving it. I'm liking it. If you hadn't hit that like button, hit that like button as it helps us out on the show. Last thing we're gonna do, and we're gonna close out here. This is a list, or I have two videos specifically, and of Olympic sports that we would rather see than breakdancing. Look, I don't know why the IOC thought that breaking was something that should be added as an Olympic sport. If you medaled in this Olympic season, congratulations. Yeah, I think you might be the only ones to ever get a medal in breaking. I came across one video that was sent to me on TikTok. I have a TikTok. Folks send me sports stuff on TikTok, which is dope. It produces the show for me essentially. And I was like, man, I'd rather watch this video here, as this looks exciting, and it could require some skills. Let's take a listen.
This is Sepak takraw, a sport that's similar to volleyball but replaces the use of your hands with your feet. Originating from Southeast Asia, the rules are loosely similar to traditional volleyball but with a few changes, including the ball, number of players, and court size. The athleticism it takes in order to play this game is incredible. Players set each other up for bicycle kicks to spike the ball, while the opposing team defends with acrobatic kicks to block shots. Do you think this sport should be popularized throughout the world?
So, look at what some of those kids are doing, or I wouldn't say kids. Those look like adults. Now, ain't no way that is less entertaining than what that breaking was. I mean,
Oh yeah.
they're using everything for they can use everything but their hands, right? So it looks like hack-a-sack, but played kind of volleyball style. But these dudes out here doing ninjutsu kicking to try and score points, and that just looks way more fun than what that 2024 breaking was that we saw.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you on that. The chances, though, of this being in the next Olympics are next to none. I am just going to say this right now. What head protection are they wearing right now? I'd watch it. I'd love to see it. But what head protection are they wearing? Every single one of them would have to have something on there that they would not be able to freaking play the game on. They would have to have a damn helmet on before that, just on a safety feature. For crying out loud, we put helmets on our on our water polo swimmers. Okay? They can just go duck under the water. But we put helmets on them, little padded things. There is zero way that this sport will happen. I'd watch it over that. I definitely watch it over breakdancing. But I will say, I think I already know that there are going to be several sports that will be added, even though this one should be one. Breakdancing will not come back for 2028, but we are going to see several sports come back, and one I'm going to be excited about because I think that if it comes back, it should be utilized to do something for them. I do think that because it's going to be in the United States, baseball is going to come back. Baseball and softball are going to come back because they have the infrastructure to play them. And playing an Olympic baseball game at Dodger Stadium would be fucking awesome. Just saying. Plus, you can also go up there to San Fran. You might even be able to go up there to Oakland and possibly do something, or even Vegas, because I know that they're planning on using Vegas for something over there for the Olympics. Hell, even San Diego, you can go down there. So you've got all of those areas for baseball. You can set baseball up. I want to see skateboarding come back.
Oh,
I say this for skateboarding. Right now, he is in the twilight, but I don't know if he still can. But I do think that skateboarding will come back because it is fucking unbelievably popular, especially originating in California where the popularity came from. But I think there's going to be something as far as with Tony Hawk being there for it. As long as he's still alive, I guarantee you that Tony Hawk will be in one skating competition in 2028 and call it a career. Never get on the board again.
yeah.
But now I also want skateboarding to come back because I want to see one other person skateboard for one last time in the Olympics, and that's Shaun White.
Hey,
Both of them call it a curtain call. I think that would be a befitting curtain call for both of them.
now, Coach, David, get ready to write your show ending because this next video might get us kicked off. Would you rather see skateboarding? Would you rather see hack-a-sack on steroids? Or would you rather see this?
Alright, de sus în jos. Ia sper că a creat un mare damage. Da, se pare că n-a fost un mare damage. Iată să vedem pe Roxana. Ea speră să creeze mare damage pe fundul Alexandrei.
Now, I don't know what kind of sport that is or what it could be called, but I'd rather see that.
All I'm going to say is this. The stereotypical perverted kind of keep your children away man. If I were to draw somebody, and I've seen somebody who has done this, they essentially look like, the type of predator and pervert that you would see in a fucking, adult movie theater. Kind of look like this guy up here picking his head on the right and the glasses and all that. I think that guy that's up there, that's in the tie right there, is just as the promoter. I think that guy right there in the bald head should be on that one of those fucking government lists that, basically ensures that he doesn't come around children or women or, possibly anybody, because everything with him is an absolute pervert. He looks like a kind of person that would end up having a fucking Hustler magazine subscription in 2024 and still prefer the VHS copies of porn. We're definitely not going to get zucked. But hey, guess what? We're on Twitter, right? So guess what? This is allowed.
So this one got sent to me with the legit question of somebody that said, would you watch this if this was an Olympic sport?
Oh.
And that's why I titled today's live stream, we'd rather see butt slapping in the Olympics.
Harriet, if you're still there, Harriet's still there. Harriet, have you ever done anything like that? I don't think she's got those two tattoos over there, though, but all right.
David said you could call it smack that. Hold on, I think I got a sound effect for that.
No, hey, you know what? You can actually just it's very simple. We're going to be in Los Angeles, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, they love star fucking, and who is the bigger star fucker than The Rock? Let's just call it the SmackDown, and then have The Rock promote it.
Oh.
There we go. Marketing 101, my friends. Is anybody
Marketing.
ever real? You know what? That's another great question. That is, and there's a great fucking thing that that you can't think about as well too. So we have, you're talking about like the marketing of all of these people. The athletes that are getting marketed are the ones, the majority of them. Whoa, never frickin' mind, Harriet. Never mind what I was saying. Well,
I was like, I heard nothing that you were talking about
yeah, I don't
because
even
I
know what I was
looked over
talking
at
about
my
after
comment
that. Yeah,
section.
forget wrestling. All right, so okay, alrighty
Oh,
there.
yeah. Thank you so much. I'm gonna tell you right now. I had a very, very interesting day
Somebody hit
today.
TeeZee in the chats. I want to get in there.
Hold on. I need to take a picture of this and send it here to the chat so that TeeZee can take a look.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So my day was made today. Harriet, thank you. That
Yes.
literally made my day. The earlier thing that
It's
made
about
my
to make
day.
your night too. It sounds like.
Doo-doo. The earlier thing that made my day, y'all, I found my second to third grade report card that was sealed up completely, meaning this was never opened. Nobody ever looked at this. And my second grade teacher said, and I have to bring this up here so that I can read it because I posted it on my social media. This lady said, "Oh, and coach, this was at Fort Bragg
Oh, nice.
School, in second grade. Said that I am a very bright student academically. However, socially, he is still somewhat immature for second grade." I said, "Wait, what? How bad do you have to be to actually have your teacher write that shit down?"
I know.
So that was the first thing that made my day today. But Harriet, thank you. I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm smiling from ear to ear because that was hilarious to me.
Oh my gosh.
And you have a fan in me, Harriet. Anytime I see you, I remember this moment. That is awesome.
Yeah.
That is freaking fantastic.
Yeah.
All right, coach. Let's close down the show. What do you have for us?
So next week, okay. So next week oh, by the way, I do have an update. I don't think we're going to this year's 2024 Army Navy game.
Okay. All right.
It's in FedEx Stadium.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. So maybe 2025. All right. So yeah, forget this year. I really don't want to go to that shithole, and I know you don't either. Okay.
I can pass it. I've been there before. I'm good.
All right. So, next week, you know what? We do have to bring up the thing, and I am actually going to discuss right now for everybody that is still here, and we'll be playing Sports Bar Trivia next week. I am actually going to reveal to you the 3 topics in which we will have 5 questions each on. Topic number 1 will be the National Basketball Association. Yes, the NBA will be topic number 1. Topic number 2 will be the National Football Conference, the NFC. I am specifically going to speak about teams and Super Bowl winners from the NFC conference.
Okay.
And to round up Number 3. Oh, I'm going to get some people with this one. We are going to the most dominant football conference of the past 20 years. SEC football. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be going from NBA to the NFC to SEC football. Those will be the 3 topics that we will be discussing and debating next week. So, when we bring that out, it will be the same roundup. Plus, I am getting rid of the points being marked out for a wrong multiple choice answer. If you go to what's it called? If you lose all your points in that round, if you lose all your points on that 5th question, you will start that next round with 0. Nobody will go into the negative. Okay?
Okay, good.
So nobody will go into the negative, and that's how we'll play for there. That is going to be an updated change. Plus, with the change, it is actually going to be changed to a more manageable style. As I've been also wanted to explain to people, this is going to be done on a much larger scale with a certain veteran organization in September. Of that will actually be 7 competition rounds and a 8th round that will determine the winners, and it will be a sports trivia on that. But that being said, I am giving it up for this one, for our month one. Just these 3. We will go from there. And this will just be a regular round on that. So whomever is the best after the 3rd round will be declared the winner. And we've got the Drew Bledsoe jersey to give away for, right?
Okay. So look, I'm glad that you did that. Thank you. So to everybody out there watching, I'm going to make sure that I clip this and put this out there. Be sure to tune into the Sports Bar next week as we have 15 questions that are going to come from 3 specific topic areas: NBA, the NFC, and SEC football, right? So y'all can do y'all's research, bone up on history around those. Coaches' questions are unique, and I like them. I will not be participating in it. I'm just going to put this out there. So I'm not going to be participating in it. I'd rather do the technical stuff. I'm going to let Coach do his game show hosting, and the winner is going to receive an authenticated, signed Buffalo Bills Drew Bledsoe jersey. So I'm going to make some promo to it. We're going to get that out there and make the best person win.
Now, King, I'm going to give one bonus right here.
Okay.
I am actually going to give a question. In fact, for everybody that is listening, I am going to give you the question right now. I'm not going to give you the answer, but I am going to give you the leadoff question for everybody that stayed here till the end of it. Like
Ooh.
you, Harriet, we got our new biggest fan. I think David is about to get bumped over by Harriet. But we will mention this right here. This is the first question. This NBA player was drafted in between Hakeem Olajuwon and Michael Jordan in the 1984 NBA draft.
Okay. I might have spelled Olajuwon wrong, but
and by the way, he wasn't Hakeem at that time. He was Akeem, Akeem, not Hakeem.
Okay. So
yes, there is a difference.
First question here, right up on the screen. Do your research. For those of y'all, this won't get clipped. So the only ones that are going to have
1984 NBA draft, not the 94. 94, that year was Glenn Robinson, Jason Kidd, Grant Hill, I think Cherokee Park.
I can't edit it.
A couple others that were.
No, 1984. My bad.
Yeah.
Boom, it's there. 1984.
Yeah, 1984.
I fat fingered it. But the leadoff question, this NBA player was drafted in between Hakeem the Dream Olajuwon and Michael Jeffrey Jordan in the 1984 NBA draft. So, hey, may the best person win.
I would say this. If anybody knew anything about Michael Jeffrey Jordan, they know who this person is. If anybody knows anything about the NBA, especially around that time, they know who that person is.
All right, no doubt. David, we are now at that point that you could send off our information, or sorry, send off our sign off for the day and close out. But while David types that up, yes, Harriet, you are my new. I am a fan of you. The sports bar is a fan of you.
Yeah, we're following her now.
That is awesome. Said I've never had to pay for a drink in my entire life, and that the word slut is on the butt with the T cricket.
Oh goodness.
Oh, this is awesome. This is great. I love this live stream. So again, my whole day was made. Thank you. So we have our official sign off here, and we're gonna put it up here on the screen and read it off. David Cunningham said, King and Coach, thanks for making us laugh. We really needed this today with all of dissension that is going on in the world. Have a great sports week, fans. See you all next Sunday on the Sports Bar. From everybody watching, the WTF Nation radio team, Coach and myself, we appreciate y'all. We give you a salute. And we are off. Hold on, I have to clear something up. Harriet said I put 94 on there. It is 84. I fat fingered the wrong year, so it is 1984 draft. I want to make sure that I address that as well. All right. So thanks to everybody that tuned in. I'm King. That's Coach. Hold on, this way. That's Coach.
Yeah.
And we're out.
Peace.